Not everyone is afraid of throwing their life away just like that. When you start thinking you have seen enough in this world, something far more disturbing is waiting for you. Hello and welcome, our dear curious heads. In this video, we will show you some of the craziest reactions of convicts upon the last sentence. Dexter Johnson. The white shirt man, sitting there in grief and disbelief, is a 19-year-old named Dexter Johnson. Dexter is convicted and sentenced to death for the murders of 2 teenagers in June 2006. Dexter is no normal 19-year-old. He is brain damaged and intellectually impaired and has been diagnosed with schizophrenia. It was a summer night when Dexter Johnson took the lives of Maria Aparice and Huyn Go. He is accused of carjacking the younger couple hours earlier, accompanied by his 4 other friends, drove them around the town before taking their valuable belongings and money and then proceeding to shoot both of them in the head. And it was just one of the many brutal crimes prosecutors say Johnson pulled off during his month-long spree of violence. After getting the death sentence by the jury, Dexter Johnson could be seen sitting down on the chair in disbelief, putting a hand over his mouth showing maybe he finally understood the price he is supposed to pay for taking someone else's life in his life itself. Though the cries of, what we guessed must be his mom, could be heard crystal clear in the background, what made everyone flinch was when Dexter tried to escape the courtroom but was thankfully tackled down by a dozen police officers. Next up, we have a criminal who is convicted of double murder, but instead of feeling grief or at least guilt on a humanitarian basis, he chose to give a spine-chilling speech at the end of his trial, which made everyone shocked. Peter Avsenew. Peter Avsenew, a 33-year-old man, was found guilty in 2017 for the murders of Stephen Adams and Kevin Powell, who were found slain in their Broward County home after being beaten and shot. Peter was facing life in prison or death by lethal injection trial, while everyone was sitting in the courtroom waiting for the jury to give the verdict. Peter made some obscene gesture towards the family of the victim, showing he has no care in the world. Proceeding further, it is reported that Peter fired his lawyers and made a short statement in front of the jury. Starting off with, "I have no regrets in my life about any decisions that I made. Nobody knows what happened that night." Continuing his wicked and twisted statement, Peter went as far as saying that people will need a Ouija board to know what happened and how it happened. Ending the statement, Peter warned a Broward judge that no one will be safe near him if he is not sentenced to death. "I wholeheartedly have nothing to lose," he said, "and I'm going to take it out on everybody I can." Though Peter is still alive and is facing a penalty trial, we have a lot of work on as a society to make sure we are looking after not only ourselves, but the people around us too. Nicholas Cruz. This innocent-looking teenage boy is Nicholas Cruz. Though his looks might be deceiving, his deeds are horrific. Nicholas is a school shooting suspect who took the lives of 17 people, including high schoolers and staff members, and injured 17 others. The incident took place on 14 February 2018, when Nicholas opened fire at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in the Miami suburban town of Parkland, Florida. In this video, the trial against Nicholas is taking place where it is to be decided whether Nicholas will be given the death penalty or life imprisonment without parole. During the whole trial, there were numerous family members of victims who were all focused on Nicholas, wanting to see him suffer as their loved ones did. And while the brother and the woman who raised Nicholas were seen wiping their tears, Nicholas stood mute and was seen grieving for what possibly his future could have been if, and only if, he did not commit the heinous crime. Timothy Jones Jr. Timothy Jones Jr. is a dad who murdered his own 5 innocent and defenseless kids. Jones, 37, was a single father and computer engineer who, after killing one of his children, decided to kill the other 4 rather than allow them to end up with his ex-wife. It was reported that Timothy suffered from mental health problems, which worsened because of his drug usage and infidelity by his wife. Reportedly on the night of August 28, 2014, he had an angry confrontation with 6-year-old Nathan after the child broke an electrical outlet in his home. To punish him, Jones forced the boy to do various strenuous exercises for a long time. He claimed that he later found the boy dead in his bed. Prosecutors said that after the first child's death, Jones considered what to do for several hours before deciding to strangle the other 4 children, all between the ages of 1 to 8 years old. He claimed to have done so to send the children to heaven together. Jones then wrapped the children's bodies in plastic and traveled with them around the southeast, making erratic trips and buying synthetic marijuana. As heart-wrenching as it is for us to hear what he did, it seemed to take an equal toll on him when the confession of what he did play in the courtroom. Though the verdict of the jury was an open secret and even Timothy knew he was going to face the death penalty, he couldn't contain himself and broke down in the courtroom, using a handkerchief to wipe his tears. But this doesn't end there. After realizing that his fake tears had no impact on the jury, Timothy was seen joking around with his legal team, making it more than obvious that there was no remorse he felt for doing what he did. Moving on, we have a killer who was sentenced to a total of 6 death sentences for 6 killings, Misak Damas. This crime shook everyone to the core of their heart and was described as the worst of the worst. Not only it included mass murder using a brutal way, but it also included black magic and demons, according to Misak himself. On September 19, 2009, a cloud of unimaginable violence and darkness shrouded the city of Naples. Misak Damas had murdered his wife Gerline and their 5 children, slicing their throats with a fillet knife in their North Naples townhouse. After destroying his own family, Damas fled to Port-au-Prince, Haiti, where he was born and raised, but authorities located him days later. Back to the hearing, as twisted as the crime was, the hearing and trial had even more drama included. From the start of the clip, Misak could be heard yelling and screaming hallelujah, which escalated to him groaning and screaming some incoherent stuff. Damas pleaded guilty to the killings and was sentenced to death. As a result, the hearing is the only opportunity for Damas to fight for a punishment other than the death sentence, and he made sure to put on a good show for everyone to enjoy. Though he confessed to the murders, he blamed his mother-in-law for voodooing his ass and casting a bad spirit in him. Not stopping here, throughout his jail time and court appearances, Damas maintained a focus on God and religion and spirits and demons, a tense mix of evangelical Christianity and traditional Haitian voodoo. He was prone to courtroom outbursts, begging to be put to death and imploring a courtroom gallery to come to Jesus. He maintained that he was possessed by demons at the time of the crime. After having this intense drama in the courtroom, he also questioned the constitutionality of the death penalty, court records show. He claimed it violates the 8th Amendment of the United States Constitution because it is inherently cruel and unusual, the document states, making it pretty ironic. Having done with horrific killers who might or might not have realized their fault, lastly we have Pickens, who claims to be innocent even after being sentenced to death for killing his ex-girlfriend, Noelle Washington, her son, 9-month-old Anthony Jones III, and 3-year-old Shaw Raylan Wright, a little girl she was babysitting. Pickens. A Hamilton County judge handed down the death penalty to a man who killed his ex-girlfriend and 2 children. Mark shot all 3 victims in the head at point-blank range in the Pendleton neighborhood of Over the Rhine in 2010. After hearing the death sentence, he hung his head low and tried convincing the jury how innocent he was. In addition to that, his attorneys argued that there were no credible witnesses, and the fact that the jury deliberated for 17 hours showed they had questions about the case. They also said Pickens cooperated with police, so his life should be spared. Nevertheless, the family members of the victim believed he got what he deserved and that they were relieved knowing all 3 souls can now rest in peace. And these were the few criminals who had a crazy reaction upon hearing the last sentence. Though they might or might not have realized what they did was wrong, these clips still send a loud and clear message to society, making it crystal clear that there's always a price you've to pay for anything bad you do. Thank you for watching till the end. We will meet next time with another video. Till then, do subscribe if you haven't, and leave a like to let us know you enjoyed your time with us. Take care.